position, our individual position is the right position to take, knowing that he's got an obligation to protect his business over those people that was right.
Well, he does. I'm sure he has.
I know, and again, that's my point.
If he's selling alcohol, he's got a minimum of $1 million life insurance. Business policy.
Right. And again, that's my point. You know, I understand we need to protect businesses, especially black-owned businesses. But while we're protecting them, the other side is we need to be protecting the community. And we have to decide whether or not the business is more important than the community. Because the business is going to protect itself, because if lawyers are in his ear, the lawyers are telling him, don't admit responsibility. Even an apology could be considered admitting responsibility, or is considered.
The reason why the United States will not apologize for slavery.
Yeah, and so if you're right, and so if you're a good guy, if you're a decent guy, then you say, do you protect your money, or do you honestly come to people and say, man, I'm sorry you got shot. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I get that.
We have to choose business or community. In this particular case, we can't choose both of them. I don't think you can choose both. I think you have to choose one or the other.
You can choose both. I mean, honestly, there's no choice though.
If you tell people not to go in an unsafe club, then other people are going to say
you can't base one incident to say it's unsafe.
It's unsafe.
People should go to
church. If he doesn't change security,
people can't go to church.
If he doesn't change security, it's still not safe.
I can't come to the England church because it's unsafe as hell.
But if he doesn't change security,
are you listening to me, Rizal?
If he doesn't change security, it's still an unsafe environment.
What makes it unsafe, Rizal? Because they had one accident, they had one incident in there that makes it unsafe. So that makes Waffle House unsafe, it makes churches unsafe.
Because I'm going to tell you, Waffle House done had a whole lot of incidents. When I lived in Nashville, it was like once a month people getting shot up in Waffle House.
If you get a gun into a club, and they've got security, you get a gun in anyway, and they don't change their security, then there's nothing to prevent somebody from getting a gun in again. And so it's still an unsafe environment. And when you say it's an unsafe environment, you're going to have people that support the club and like club and saying, well, you just against the business. Well, no, I'm not against the business. I'm for the people that are going to the business. I'm for them. So yeah, it's still an unsafe environment, in my opinion.
I really say it's unsafe environment, but I get where you're coming from.
It ain't unsafe.
All right, welcome to the show, and I'm going to start the show off by simply saying, we're not worthy, we're not worthy. Robert Webb is in the house, y'all. I'm so, it's like Christmas. You know, I love Christmas. You know,
stop it.
You're going to have to talk directly into that mic while you're destroying it over there.
I'm just going to take the thing. I can't even take it off.
No, it's not designed to take off. There you go. All right. He is here. He's here destroying stuff, but Robert's here. Yeah. You can do that. Okay. And if Rizal needs to talk, you can go over to that one over there. How about that? All right.
He can pull that one down.
So welcome to the show. Robert Webb is in the house. Hey, Jackie, how you doing? Kimberly Blackshaw.
I gotta say this, man. I gotta say this before we start. Me and Rizal often disagree. Not often, but we disagree on some stuff. Can I finish?
Can I do my?
I ain't been here forever. Can I have a few minutes, D? Dang.
Y'all need a referee.
We
do have a format.
All three of us disagree. But the thing is that we disagree and we move on. It ain't like we're gonna be in the club Friday night and I hear Rizal down at I hear he down at his club down at what's that name of that club down there? The little white building where all the old folks go. What's the name of it?
I don't know.
Jazz's. I Rizal down Jazz. I don't get my gun, go down there and pop him a couple of times. And it's that kind of thing, y'all. We can disagree and still be cool, y'all. Yeah. So I know it sounds like it sounds like a little tense with us, but we cool. We cool.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, somebody texted and said, "Dang, y'all sound like y'all about to go at it." Nah, we cool.
That's just how y'all do.
Yeah, you know, black folk, we getting heated.
Yeah, it's like playing spades. Anyway, before I was rudely interrupted about introducing the show, you are listening to Black Focus Radio on JoynetRadio.com. We're here every day, Monday through Friday. That voice you heard was Robert Webb. He'll be sitting in with us today.
That hurt, man.
You know, I'm just saying.
He just dropped by. He's sitting in.
Yeah, you know, I'm just saying. You know, Robert is he a business man. You know,
that hurt, man. That hurt.
He don't.
That hurt me.
You know, he'll you know, share his presence with us every now and then. So we're so happy.
Thank you for allowing me to be here.
I've laid 31 virgins down on the floor that he'll walk across as he leaves today. Okay, so we're happy to have Robert. A lot of things to talk about today. I don't know if you've heard, Robert. Have you heard the 911 tape for Amber Geiger?
No.
You've not heard it. So it's about 5 minutes and 50 seconds. I'm going to play it all. So we're going to play that later on. And since you're here, I certainly want to hear your comments. I've been kind of following the comments that was, it was released on WFAA, the local station in Dallas. Okay. And I followed some of the comments on there, and boy, they're lighting her up. And when you hear it, you'll see. Now, I will tell you all right off the bat that there are a couple of terse words in it, so don't get your panties in a wad. Okay. But it needs to, you need to hear it in its entirety. It's not beeped out. And by the way, we're on the interweb, so we can play it, okay? But I want you all to hear it because it's very, very interesting. And it reveals a lot of things. And the question is, why, and I don't want to spoil it, but the question is, why isn't this woman in jail? What's up, Jackie? Hey, Fahim, thanks for joining me. Hey, Vonda, how you doing? So we're going to play that today. Of course, I talked a lot. I don't know if you saw the article over the weekend about your at-large board members.
I scanned it. I didn't read it.
So we're gonna talk a little bit about that again. We talked about that yesterday, and so we'll certainly get into that a little bit today as well, and see what your thoughts are as it relates to what your city board members seem to believe about you. And I kind of lit them up yesterday, and I'm going to light them up again today as well, for sure. A couple of other things I want you to be aware of is I posted on my wall. Let me say this. There is a white supremacist rally going on right now, or beginning, at Arkansas Tech University in Russellville. We are expecting a live drop-in, which means from Cliff, and I just got a text. He is on the way. Okay, so be aware of that. Now, I see that the Facebook feed seems to be dropping out. I'm about to post the YouTube feed here in just a moment on my wall, so you all hang on for that so you can get it. That YouTube feed will be a little bit, at least it's fairly reliable, so I'll be posting that here in a moment. Yes. Yeah, I'm doing that as well. So stick and stay for that. So I'm posting the YouTube feed. By the way, remember yesterday, I need all of y'all to make sure you're sharing this. You're tagging someone. Tag someone Tuesday. So tag someone that hasn't heard the show to share it, like the show. Remember, as we continue to move forward, if we're going to solve our problems, then we've got to support one another. And if you've got a black business, if your friend has a black business, even if you're not spending money with that person, you ought to be sharing him or her. You ought to be tagging someone about that black business. That could go a long way in helping to build black businesses. We have a forum, which is Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, where that it can be like a tsunami of black businesses. And I'm looking forward to introducing the sister in Los Angeles. We're going to get her on the air, who have introduced Black Dollars. And I don't know if y'all have heard about this, but she's getting black businesses to join, and anytime someone comes into her business and presents this card that says Black Dollars, they automatically get a 10% discount. I think that's a great idea.
That is a good idea.
Okay, so I'm trying to get her on because I want to try and bring that to Little Rock as well, because that's how we can build our black businesses.
That's what's up.
Okay, so those are. Oh, and by the way, Conway is getting body cams. Don't you look pretty stupid, Little Rock? Thanks, Joan and BJ. We're gonna talk
Why would
about
they
that
look
today.
stupid?
Because we can't get in.
Why can't we get them?
We're going to get into all that here in just a moment.
all right.
Hold your horses. I know you're ready. You like, just hang on, Rob. I know. I know. See, you see. I see. No, because I know. That's what I'm saying. I know
I did
you.
my morning show for the second time.
Yeah, which I've never been invited. But but I know you're ready. I mean, you're pregnant with promise.
Pregnant with promise.
Okay,
I'm pregnant,
so
player.
so just can we do black facts?
Get your black facts.
Is it okay?
Black facts.
And then you can just attack.
I guess they make Dave your baby daddy.
You know?
Yeah, they make it my baby daddy. Exactly. Yeah, y'all sitting there talking terrible.
All right, so we're gonna do black facts today, and the black fact that I'm gonna do is give you 5 pieces of evidence that show black people were first in Americas. It is often taught that black people first arrived in the Americas during the slave trade, but that history is in the process of being totally rewritten by archaeologists as they continue to find evidence of black people who occupied the American continent before the Bering Strait was crossed by Mongolian Asians. According to the BBC documentary Ancient Voices and some scholars, these people were the black Aboriginal people of Australia and Melanesia. They were later massacred by the invaders from Asia. Here is some of the evidence that has been presented to prove black people were the first to populate the Americas. Human skulls have been uncovered in Central and South America that were 9,000 to 12,000 years old, among the oldest skulls in America. Walter Neves, an archaeologist of the University of Sao Paulo, Brazil, has taken extensive measurements from dozens of skulls, including the oldest from the youngest, a woman who the archaeologist named Luísa, discovered in Lago Santo Minas, Brazil. The measurements show that Luísa was anything but mongoloid, he says. Reconstruction of Luísa's 12,000-year-old skull by forensic artist Richard Neve from the University of Manchester showed all the features of a negroid face. Neves said in 1998 segment of the BBC documentary services Ancient Voices. In a broadcast segment, the scientists concluded that the dimensions of the prehistoric skulls found in Brazil match those of the Aboriginal people of Australia and Melanesia. Stone tools, artifacts, and stone tools of charcoal from the Pedro Ferrudo sites in Brazil show evidence of human habitation as long as 50,000 years ago. The dickens, you say? In addition to radiocarbon tests and carbonized plant remains and artifacts unearthed along the Savannah River in Allendale, South Carolina, indicate that humans inhabited North America at least, listen, at least 50,000 years ago, long before the last ice age. The tests were conducted by the University of South Carolina archaeologist Dr. Albert Goodyear in 2004. Brazil cave carvings found in Serra de Capivara in remote northeast Brazil also presented evidence of the existence of a much older people. The rock art, which shows images of giant armadillos, a species extinct before the last ice age, is dated around 25,000 years ago. Some eminent rock art specialists are proposing an even earlier date, perhaps as far back as 36,000 years ago. The findings challenges the widely held view that Americans were first colonized by people from the north via the Bering Strait at least around 10,000 BC, moving south to inhabit Central and South America. The Bradshaw Cave, found in Kimberley, Australia, a region at the northern tip of Australia, offer evidence of Aborigines may have built boats capable of making the journey 8,550 miles across the ocean. And that's our Black Fact for today. Now let me just say something real fast about this. South Carolina, 50,000 years ago. Mm-hmm. Now, based on what you may or may not know, Robert, based on what we know about religion and the Bible, mm-hmm. How old is the Bible?
From what I heard, the Bible's only like 8,000, not even 8,000 years old. It's not even, I can't remember now, but it's not very old.
The oldest date is 6,000 years old.
Yeah,
it's 4,500 to 6,000 years.
Yeah, it's not very old. I remember that.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, I follow what you're saying, exactly, yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
I get exactly what you're saying, brother.
Do I need to explain it?
You might need to further.
Okay, so let me explain it real fast. Okay, no offense to anyone who practices Christianity,
no offense to Rizal,
or Islam, or anything like that.
No offense to Rizal.
Okay, but if the Bible or Islam is only 5,000 to 6,000 years old, and we found evidence of people here in America and other parts of the world 50,000 years old. Makes you wonder about that flood, doesn't it? Anyway, 855-525. Y'all will get that here in a moment. No offense.
Sick.
Okay? Y'all will get that in a moment. Okay. 855-525-5688.
And dinosaurs were here how long ago?
Over 1 million years. Depending on what period, because there were different periods of the dinosaur reign. Okay. All right, so what do you want to do first, Robert? I mean, since you're here, this is your show. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, one other quick thing. I posted a video of Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. And Robert, I guess I need to go and tag you on it. It is 1 hour and 55 minutes long.
Okay.
And this was done prior to her death. She died in 2016, I believe. And she did this prior to her death. So it's pretty recent, okay? So she talks about the things that she's been talking about for 30, 40 years. And when you listen to this piece, and I implore you to do it, you'll begin to understand how Donald Trump became who he is as president. Okay? Because I've tried to echo to each of you as I talk about what's going on in America, is that all this boils down to what Dr. Welsing had coined the phrase white genetic annihilation. Okay? In 14 states, whites are dying faster than they are being born. In 4 states already, whites are the minorities. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. In 4 states already, they are the minorities. Mm-hmm. So this white nationalism, this push to the right, this white power, all of that stuff ties directly into what's going on right now as it relates to why Donald Trump was elected, why there are a lot of closet white people who are simply sitting back and cheering Donald Trump, saying, go, 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 but they're out in public saying, oh, that man's terrible. And the direct evidence to what I just said is the 2016 election when white women voted for Donald Trump 53%. The same white women who were calling him all kinds of names prior to going into that voters' booth. Okay? So I say all that to say, take some time, listen to what Dr. Welsing, and I'm going to tell you, it's not a lot of deep jargon, and within the first 15 minutes, if you're pretty keen, it's going to hit you.
So you pick up quick.
It's going to pick you up quick. I mean, it's going to blow you away. And what I wrote when I posted it, and here's what I simply said to people, because it is so profound. I dare you to listen, not for the weak at heart, so you think you're woke, you're about to be, now you understand the rise of Trump. It's just that profound. And it's just what I've been talking about. Okay? Because all of this is about white genetic annihilation. Because they understand 2042 is real. Now here's what boggled my mind. Last Friday morning, Stephanie Rule on MSNBC, she actually brought up 2042 and talked about it in depth. That's the first time I've seen anyone on the national news circuit even, they mention 2042, or there'll be guests that will mention it, but in fact, the host brought it up and went in depth about it. So it's going to be interesting. So make sure you go out and check that out. So what do you want to do? I told you you want to talk about, you want to listen to the transcript of Amber Geiger?
Let's listen to Amber Geiger.
Okay. So those of you all remember, and this is from WFAA, Channel 8, in Dallas. This is the uncensored version of the 911 call that was made after Amber Geiger broke into Botham Jean's apartment, shot and killed him. Now, I would advise you, because I can see the Facebook feed is dropping off, please go out and download the app. If you're not listening to the station on the app, you need to go ahead and download the app anyway. But this audio, and I want you to pay attention to it, because as I listened to it, I found some curious things as to why this woman is not in jail and should still be in jail. And it's pretty clear to me that the only reason that is the case is because she's a cop. Okay? Mm-hmm. All right? So let's listen to this. And then this is about 5 minutes in length. And then we'll come back on the other side to discuss.
Yes, I thought it was my apartment. I'm sorry. Oh my God. I'm sorry. Where are you at right now? I'm in. What do you mean? I'm inside the apartment. Hey, come on. What's your name? I'm Amber Geiger. I need to get me out. I'm in. Okay, we have up on the way. I know, but I'm. Oh my God. I thought it was my apartment. Give me that. Stay with me, okay? I'm ready to buy it. Okay.
She's making an alibi.
What did they get home there? I don't know. I don't know. I thought it was my apartment. They're trying to get in there. They're in the officer there. You don't have the gate code? No.
She has to. She lives there.
I thought it was my apartment. What floor are you in right now? The fourth floor. Fourth. He's on the top. He's on the top left.
You can hear him grunting in the background.
I think you're with Dallas PD, right? Yes.
How did she know the code?
They're trying to get there to you, okay?
If you've just tuned in, we're listening to the 911 tape of the murder of Botham Jean by Amber Geiger.
They're already there. They're trying to get to you. I thought it was my apartment. I thought it was my apartment. I thought it was my apartment. Do you hear them? Do you see them? No. No. How the fuck did I do that? How did I do this? Over here, over here. Okay, go ahead. No, it's me, and I'm off you, I thought they were my apartment. I thought this was my floor.
All right. So, if you're just tuning in, we were listening to the 911 tape of the night Amber Geiger goes into Botham Jean's apartment, shoots and kills him. And that was the 911 tape. And Robert, you heard it. I'm sure that was the first time you've heard it. That's the third time I've heard it. This was just released this morning, apparently. Your thoughts initially? Very good. I concur exactly.
You know, I have to give a shout out to one of my personal heroes, Gavin Long. I don't know if you're familiar with Gavin Eugene Long, but I gotta give a shout out to him right now. That's all I have to say. And I want to give another shout out to my hero down in Texas, Malik Johnson.
Now, what does that mean?
That's all I gotta say about that dog. No.
Okay.
The It sounded like she was just, she realized that she had shot the guy, and she was doing everything she could to make sure she didn't go to prison for it. I don't care what anybody says. No way in the world you can make me believe. Now let me tell you, guys, I've been tired. I've been dog tired.
Mm-hmm. Drunk too.
I'm drunk too, and I've never went to the wrong house. I've never opened the wrong door. Now, I might have went to my grandmother's house and not my mother's house. I might have went to, if I was seeing a couple of people, a couple of different women at the time, I might have went to one woman's house.
Now, details, right? Details.
I mean, I'll give you that. But to be in an apartment complex and not go to your house, I can't give you that one. I can't give it to you. I'm sorry. I can understand you being tired, but that's one. I'll even say this. I've gotten off the elevator on the wrong floor before in an apartment complex, right? And walk down the hall, not realizing until I actually get to the door and I look at the number on the door, it says 103 when it should be 203, right? Mm-hmm. So that's, for me, I can't give you that one. You ain't gonna, you that damn tired, you should have been driving. You that tired, you should have been at work because you put other people in jeopardy. So, yeah, I can't give you that one, bro.
Or maybe she was intoxicated.
The way she sounded on the 911 tape, she sounded more. What's the word I'm looking for? She sounded really confused, right?
Okay.
And I don't know where that confusion comes from.
Or maybe she was intoxicated. Because let me do this. Here's my observation of the tape. I've listened to it 3 times now. And each time I listen to it, it reveals something new to me. The first time I listened to it just to listen. The second time I listened to it, I listened for remorse. Oh, no. I listened for help. Now, what I mean by that is when you shot him and you claim that you realized that you shot him, did you, Amber Geiger, administer CPR?
No.
No, she didn't.
Because she wanted to die.
You get my point?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that did stick out to me. You hear the guy in the back, you hear him gurgling.
Right.
And even if she had administered CPR, she would have killed him, to be fair. Mm-hmm. If you shoot somebody in the chest and they're gurgling, you try to give them CPR. I mean, her holding the phone, maybe she was trying to hold pressure on the gunshot. We don't know that, right? But my point is,
by the way, that did not come out in the reports that she initiated CPR or any life-saving techniques.
Yeah, but she wouldn't have done something. She wouldn't have done. She wouldn't have given mouth-to-mouth for the chest compressions, but she would have tried to hold her hand.
Some type of life-saving technique.
Yeah, I agree. But hey, man, this is a tough one.
Okay. The third time I listened to it, which was just then, and really I kind of realized this the second time, is that clearly she was trying to develop an alibi. Clearly, I went into the wrong apartment. I counted at least 15 times that she said that.
Yeah, okay. I mean, she's setting up. Yeah, she's setting up her defense.
So, the question I have is, number one, I don't recall them saying that there was ever a blood test taken. Okay, I do recall that she was allowed to move out of her apartment, and her apartment was never examined. Okay, but here's the other thing that's problematic to me. She lived on the 13th floor, apparently 1378, right above him. And like you said, there have been times I've lived in apartments. I mean, these buildings look alike. And you might have one building, but you have 2 sets of apartments. And they have the same entrance. Okay? I have parked at the wrong entrance, walked down the stairs, walked upstairs to what I thought was my apartment, got my keys out, looked up, and oops, sorry, wrong apartment. And one point, tried to put my key in it, and the guy behind the door said, "Hey, you're at the wrong apartment." I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I walk back down and come around and go up into my apartment." So I've done that. Okay.
How did she get in? We still haven't.
But hang on, let me finish. But in Botham John's case, recall that Botham John had a red rug. Let me say that again. Red is one of the most. There's a reason why they use red in stoplights. Okay, it is the most obvious color that you could ever have. Okay, so there was a red rug, a welcome rug, that his mother gave him right in front of his door. So I'm not buying, and by the way, you go up 4 flights instead of 3 flights. I'd be curious to know, are those floors numbered? Did you get on an elevator? What did you push on that elevator? Did you walk upstairs? All of that stuff is relevant because, see, I'm not buying the fact that you go up an extra floor and then you go into an apartment that has a red rug on the floor in front of the door. Mm-hmm. I'm just not buying that, okay? Right. So the other question is that I found curious that I just got in listening to that, when they ask her for a gate code. If she doesn't have a gate code, how the hell she get in the apartment complex?
That's a very good point.
Huh?
She said she couldn't give it to him.
No, she said she doesn't have one.
How did she get in the gate then?
That's my point. Okay? And if you recall, because I did in-depth research on this story. Those doors operate by a key fob. And in all likelihood, her apartment, the gate does the same thing. In other words, now you have to, instead of you having to punch in a code, you just drive by the gate and you can either wave the key fob or hit a button on the key fob. That's what all these apartments have went to now. Gotcha. Okay? And you heard her say she had a key fob. Okay, well, you had the 911 person say she had a key fob. Right. Do you have a key fob? Okay? We know for a fact that those doors on that apartment complex operated with a key fob. I did extensive research on it. I talked about it on this show. Okay. All right? We also know that those doors don't stay ajar. In fact, we saw an evidence of someone who lived in those apartments. We presented it on the air where they were showing as they opened the door, they're spring loaded, the door closed on its own. Right. Okay? So she's lying. The question is, as you just said, Robert, how did she get in his apartment? How did she get in his apartment?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question.
Okay.
Once we know that, then the rest of it falls in place.
Okay. How did she get into his apartment? I'm just curious. You ought to be too. 855-525-5683. We want to go out to the phones. I believe this is Cliff May. Cliff is reporting live from the white racist rally at Arkansas Tech. Now, let me be clear. I would not be able to do this show if I didn't believe in the First Amendment. Okay? And as abhorrent as some speech is or may be, these racists, they have the right under the Constitution to say what they want to say. But, you know, I was always taught as I learned journalism is just remember that when you use your First Amendment, there comes responsibilities and potentially consequences. Let's go to the phones. Hey, Cliff, is that you? How you doing, man?
But basically, they had this event planned. I'm not sure how long they've been planning this. They're not one to plan something at the last minute, though. But I got here just a little bit after 12, and there's a huge group at the Bell Tower where they were supposed to have this event. Free speech zone, which the campus uses quite frequently for a lot of different things, for student clubs and everything. And they were not here. They did not show up. And huge crowd over here. I don't know, maybe 60 people or more that showed up to counter protest between some students on campus and a bunch of people from the community who showed up to counter protest and just kind of keep an eye on things. But I just got done talking to the Dean of Diversity, and she was very upset because the university did not inform any of the students of this event until 8:30 last night.
Well, you know, that's peculiar because I've known about this rally for a few days. You know, so I mean, why wouldn't the Dean of Diversity know about a rally that I know about and I live in Arkansas, in Little Rock? But wait a minute. Well, but wait a minute, Cliff. Wait a minute. Is the Dean of Diversity, is she black or white? She's black. Okay. If she knew about it Friday, why wasn't she raising hell about it? So so the rally was supposed to start at noon, is that correct? And Billy Roper and the white supremacists have not shown up as of yet. Wow, fascinating, interesting. Well, maybe. By the way, to your knowledge, has there been a statement from the governor who, by allowing white supremacists on a college campus, has he issued a statement concerning whether or not he agrees or disagrees with this? Okay.
Really?
Well, keep us posted. I know you've got to run, but keep us posted on whether or not this administration, what their words are about the white supremacists, because this is key. And I'm glad you brought up the fact about David Banner. Arkansas Tech is about to be exposed for what they are. We know what's going on in Russellville, but that's going to be an interesting juxtaposition because I would think by now they would have already issued a statement. And what state representative was that? Trevor Jones. Are they still state representatives from that area? Have they issued a statement? Have they issued a statement? Okay. All right. All right, Cliff. I know you're appreciate your on the ground reporting. Good job on your part. And I'm assuming. Okay, and I'm assuming that we'll see you tomorrow here at the station, right? Okay. All right. Have a good one. That's Cliff May. He comes in on Wednesdays. He drives all the way over from Russellville on Wednesdays to talk about some of the things. Interesting, to say the least. But again, they have a right to their free speech. Now, here's something that, and since we're talking about this, and we'll get back on Miss Geiger here in a moment. But here is a letter. I don't know if you've seen this from the Black Faculty and Staff Organization. which I find very interesting. The Black Faculty and Staff Organization is aware of a white nationalist hate group that plans to appear on campus. The hate group, led by racist Billy Roper, is coming in what they believe is in support of the university's decision to take a donation from a proposed anti-Semitic professor. Many of you and other students were scheduled to protest the university's decision at the tower. Your health and safety are our utmost concern. Whether you choose to join the protest at the tower, attend a class, or stay at your residence, the BFSO stands with you. However, make no mistake, if you choose to attend the protest, you will most likely be met with the worst vitriol, racist, and sexist speech that you've ever witnessed. These are not people of integrity or honor. Their ideology is based on the foundation that we are worthless and we need to be extinct, dead. Okay, the BFSO stands with you. Okay, this is not this is not your random heritage, not hate diatribe. This is face of hatred, especially black hatred. Understanding the potential harm and danger of this situation, we ask that you be alert at all times. Do not travel alone or report anything anyone that you deem as suspicious. If you are going to the protest, do not bring anything, weapon, that would be in violation of the university's handbook. From a person who has participated in many protests, I encourage you not to engage with these hate groups. I am not asking you to back down or not to stand up for what you believe in. I'm asking you to be mindful of their desires to make you mad, that you may come at them and then they can use force. So that's from the Black Faculty and Staff Organization at Arkansas Tech, the Wonder Boys. Well, as you heard Cliff say, that it'll be interesting to see if, in fact, they come out full-throated against these people the way they did David Banner.
Probably not, but that's to be expected.
Yep, it is. But, you know, and people say, I'm glad to see this happening because I'm glad y'all are paying attention. Okay? Now y'all gonna go out and look at that video by Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. That's what this is all about, folks. What we're seeing now is the acceptance of white supremacy. It's mainstreamed now, and
so you think you can get lynched again? Think pretty soon we'll start having Martin Day lynchings?
No.
You don't think so?
The only way they'll get me, they gonna sneak up on me. Okay, they're gonna have to throw a sleeping.
Let me tell you again, Blair.
They're gonna have to throw a sleeping dart at me.
Let me inform you again.
Okay.
I will always be judged by 12.
Okay.
I will never be carried by 6.
Okay. That's what I'm saying. That's
always.
What I'm saying.
My motto is, go with the 12.
You weren't here that day when I talked about The Purge. I had watched The Purge.
Yeah.
Were you here that day?
No.
Yeah.
The Purge is real, baby.
But
The Purge is real.
I think it was Purge election night.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, so the point being is that look.
But you know something that's interesting about the Purge, though, right?
What's that?
You notice they never do it in the hood.
No.
You notice they never go to the hood for the
No.
Purge. You get that, right?
No. That's my point. Okay.
I welcome the Purge.
So, and my point is that you all can go ahead, and I said this last week, that see, one thing that white supremacists, because see, you've been taught the wrong history, okay? And one thing that white supremacists don't get, and I read a black fact the other day about the countless number of slave revolts that actually took place in America. And I gave the listeners the point that, look, the reason you didn't hear about them is because whites were outnumbered 3-1 during that time period. They made sure that if there was a slave revolt, it was kept undercover because they didn't want other plantation slaves getting wind of revolts.
Right.
Okay? So you rarely heard of them, but they happen on a regular basis. All right? So I'm leading a revolt. And what you all don't get, and what I said last week, last month, last year, is that I ain't my grandmama. I ain't my mama. My mom is 92 years old. So just imagine what she's lived through.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
93. Okay, she'll be quick to correct me. 93! Okay. So she proud of that 93, and God bless her soul. But the point being is that I'm not, see, most people our age, and although I'll be 58 in a week, okay? But still, I'm not my mama. I'm not my uncles and my aunties. You see, I'd have been that slave that would have slit your throat at night. I'd have been that slave would have poisoned your food. So you come with that craziness, and this is why I tell people, we cannot sit back and ignore these people anymore.
I agree.
We need to let them know that come on, bring it, dog. Come on. Because the only thing that these people understand is violence. Okay? I hate to say that, but if you're going to roll over like a roly-poly and let them step on you, then you go right ahead.
America respects violence.
This black man right here, this one right here, right here,
Right here?
right here.
Right here? Okay, right here.
You're not going to step on me. Look, at the end of the day, if you want to talk about race, the conversation must begin with you agreeing that you and I are equal. And if it doesn't begin there, then we have no conversation. I'm not going to pray with you. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to negotiate with you. Because if you don't believe that I am equal to you as a man, then we have no conversation, brother.
Yeah, that's a good point, Dave. But, you know, I'm going to say this, and I think I'm going to be done with it. I have grown weary of trying to get someone else to, you know, understand who I am and what my contributions are.
I agree.
I'm tired of that. I have no more use for that. So, as white folks say they're a white nationalist, I'm a black nationalist. So, all good. Let's do our thing. When we meet up, we meet up.
I agree.
Because to me, it's getting old. I mean, and what's getting old to me is somebody's constantly telling me what's acceptable of me to feel like a person or a human in this country. Somebody tells me what that should be and how that should look and how I should go about doing it. Don't work for everybody. So, I mean, having a conversation, I don't want to have a conversation. I don't care to have a conversation with you about who I am, how I am, and why I am. If you want to talk to me about money, how you straighten that out, how you fix the ills, then yeah, I had that conversation with you. But I'm not having a conversation with you about anything other than that because at this point it's pointless. And if anybody else wants to have conversations about nonsense, then do it. Do so. Enjoy yourself. But me, myself, I can't have more conversations about craziness. I just can't do it. I'm done. Shout out to my heroes again.
Stop it. Some people didn't get that. But anyway.
They will.
But
I'm so tired of. I'm really tired of all this.
I am
I
too.
really am.
I
really am. Because I think this is a great way to keep people from. You can completely screw over people if you can keep their attention focused on something that's completely and totally insignificant. You can beat them about the head and shoulders. I mean, I remember I asked somebody the other day. They went on for hours talking about Trump, right? And I asked them a very simple question. You ready for this question I asked them? What's your sales tax rate in the city you live in? I don't know. Why? Oh man, you didn't even understand. What's happening on Tuesday nights down in City Hall impact your life far greater than Trump ever will. The stuff that Trump doing, you might not know about that for 20 years from now. But Wednesday morning, they pass something down the city board, you will know that Wednesday morning. They didn't even know their own tax rate. Come on, y'all. We got to wake up, man. We are being, as Malcolm X said, we being bamboozled, hoodwinked, run amok, led astray. We've been done wrong, man.
Yep.
Wake up, y'all. Wake the hell up.
That's the point. That's precisely the point. Is that, and that's why I've been saying on this show now for almost 2 years, that if y'all want to get rid of racism, then white people have got to do it. Think about that.
All I'm gonna say is,
Think about that.
I don't even think we understand some of the things that we do.
That's why.
and
I don't mean to interrupt you, but that's why you gotta go listen to that Dr. Wilson's piece I posted.
And Rizal made some strong points about clubs. He made some strong points about them. I disagree with them because you can't say it about a nightclub and not say it about a church.
Good point.
You can't say it about a nightclub and not say it about Waffle House.
Good point.
And that kind of mentality. You're saying that music now, you're doing the same thing they did in California when they talked about Ice-T and all these other guys who were putting out when he put out Cop Killer, when NWA put out F the Police. Mm-hmm. You're saying the same thing. You're saying a brother like me or a brother who's 25 years younger than me, he can't listen to a song and enjoy the lyrics and the artistry of the song without wanting to go out and blow somebody's brains out. That's just stupid. I mean, they're just saying that we're all somewhat barbaric, right?
Some of us are.
Yeah, some of us are. Well, I don't think some of us are barbaric. It's just that some of us are angrier than others, and I get that.
Some of us are easily influenced, and I agree with both sides. Mm-hmm. Now
you can't agree with both sides, Dave. You got to pick a side player.
Yeah, I can't.
He ain't your co-host, pimp. You need to pick a side player. And you need to pick the right side.
You're just a guest.
Oh my goodness! I just been kicked off my own show.
I had to get you for that.
I've been kicked off my own show.
But here's why I agree with both sides.
Okay.
It's kind of like this. When you get on a plane, you expect that plane to get you from A to B, right? Mm-hmm. And if I don't get there, then that means that somebody is liable for that, right?
Okay.
Now I think that's what he was arguing.
No,
so wait a minute, let me finish my point. So if in fact I go out to a club, and Lord knows back in the day, that's part of the reason I didn't go over to the 50-yard line, because they was always shooting up over there.
Yeah.
Okay? But it is the responsibility that if you say that you have security and you allow a weapon to get in there, then yeah, it's your responsibility. Okay.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Okay. Now that's all I'm saying.
I'm not disagreeing that the club has a responsibility to keep people safe, right? And this is the problem I have with that, though. Police can't keep people safe, and you're expecting this man to keep these people safe. I disagree with that. Now, yeah, is there an expectation of safety? Hold on.
You know what I'm gonna say?
Hold on, Dave. Is there an expectation of safety when you walk into that building? Hell no. I live in a neighborhood. Ain't no expectation of safety nowhere I go. I don't feel safe anywhere I go. I always got my head on a swivel. Mm-hmm. I'm always making sure that everything's okay, right? What's problematic for me is that all of a sudden, right? All of a sudden, we've been going to these clubs all our life, and all of a sudden, there's a shooting in the club. And this is not the first time we've had a shooting in the club. I mean, people, wake up. This is not the first time. I mean, like I said, Power Lounge. Mm-hmm. Same thing. My point is that we have these conversations, and while I understand the conversation is necessary, right? I understand the conversation is necessary. And again, my heart goes out to those who were shot. But at the end of the day, I'm also a businessman.
Right.
And I also understand that this is how I feed my family.
Right.
This is how I eat.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. And understand this is how I eat. I have to look at this from a business perspective.
Yes,
right?
you do.
I provided security. I did what I could. I did what was required of me. Right?
Did you?
It is required of me.
We don't know that he did.
Hold on. It is required of me. It is required of me to make sure when people walk in the door that I have to frisk them down, that I have to take them through a metal detector and warn them and the whole nine.
Did he do that?
He does that.
Okay.
Right?
I don't know that he does. Do you know that he does?
Yeah. The thing is, what's problematic is that somebody can go and let somebody come in the back door. There's no control over that. I mean, if
that's the case, again, that's his liability.
There are issues.
So what you're saying? Wait a minute. Let's be clear. Can someone go and let someone in a back door at that place?
No, they couldn't.
Okay, because if that's the case, again, that's his look. I sell a product. It's a food product.
Right.
Okay. I have to have a $1 million life product liability insurance. Okay, it's called the cost of doing business.
Right. He has to have insurance as well.
All right. So that if someone gets sick off of my product, I can be sued.
Right.
All right. So in his particular case, his product is a club, is entertainment. I'm sure because he sells alcohol. I'm sure because it's a high risk business that he has to have at least $1 million. In fact, I know the ABC board requires him to have some type of liability insurance, and I'm sure. And the minimum, let me finish.
Okay.
The minimum is $1 million.
Right.
Okay.
But let's say he was letting the side door.
Okay.
How is that the liability of the club owner?
But
He can't
it's
control-
your business. If I
A lot of things are my business.
okay,
man.
wait a
But-
minute.
Okay.
If I go to your house
Okay.
and I step in a hole
Right.
in your yard and
Right.
break my ankle,
You shouldn't have been at my house.
well, that's probably the reason I
No,
don't
go
go.
ahead.
But who's liable?
I get that. I get that.
Did you
wanna
see
put
what
the
I'm saying?
liability back on me. I get that.
So,
let's-
but that's just the way business
But again,
is. It's not fair.
No, I understand.
As you
that.
and
But
I being
again,
business owners.
Again, as a business, there are certain things that are within my control as a business owner. I don't care who that owner is. The same thing happened. I mean, this is what's problematic for me, man. People don't think about black folks lose jobs when this kind of stuff happens.
I agree with all of that.
Black folks lose jobs, and for me, that's troubling because as a black man, we should know how hard it is to try to find a job.
Well, we
And
know
you got brothers-
they haven't closed the club
but-
down.
But let me say this though, and it's important to understand that Brian, just like her before him, they hired brothers from the community who wouldn't otherwise get gainful employment because for whatever reason, they wouldn't get gainful employment. So I think it's important that we revisit this conversation and we talk about it in different perspectives. Because again, while I understand the rationale around the conversation, right? I think it's important to talk about what happens when we don't have we don't put the conversation in its proper context. Police can't protect people. So how are you asking me as a club owner to protect a group of people in my building? I can do everything in my power to protect them within the building, right? I can do everything in my power. But still, there are things that are going to happen beyond my power. I mean, think about it. If that's the case, don't go to Waffle House tomorrow. Don't go to church. Don't go to a gas station. Don't go to a grocery store. Don't go to the mall. All these places, they've had mass shootings. Don't go.
The movies.
The movie theater. Don't
Endgame.
go.
Yeah, don't go see Endgame.
Don't go see a game. Don't go. Don't leave your house because you can't afford to leave your house. Stay your black tail at home. Don't go nowhere.
So it's funny because when I bought my tickets for Endgame, I specifically told him the specific tickets that I wanted, so there was an easy ingress and egress.
You make sure you got tickets in the front so you can get up and get out.
You're exactly right.
Hey man,
Anyway,
I already know.
I hear what you're saying.
I already
And
know.
let's take a break, and we'll talk about this on the other side.
All right.
But I hear what you're saying. But as a business owner who has a product, I hate to say it, but it's the cost of doing business. We'll be back in just a moment. It's
It
Black
is.
Focus Radio.
Peace.
This is attorney Danielle Walker from the Walker Law Firm. Are you drowning in debt? Is your debt becoming unmanageable? Are you struggling to make ends meet? It might be time.
So,
to
but your
get
man,
your bank
this
out.
new software
Call me at 501.
Yeah, I like that.
is going to allow us to do
1448,
syndication.
And let me provide you with the professional legal
Okay.
guidance and help
So,
protect you
the morning show is
from
already,
harassing bill collectors,
syndicating
repossessions,
on
wage garnishments, and more. I have a
2 other
proven
stations
record
here in
serving
Louisville.
Yeah,
clients
the Pine Bluff
just like
Station or
you.
something.
Over
Right.
20 years. I'm
So
conveniently
what
located
we'll
in
be able to do
Rocket
now is
323
take this show
Center Street, Suite
and go to
10.
any
Call today
station.
for a free,
You know, people that got
no
black
obligation
radio
consultation.
stations who wants black programming. All they'll need to do is go out and purchase something called a barracks box. Okay? And we'll be able to sell this show. So this is huge for us.
Shit, we need to really sit down and get our show tight then.
That's the
Tight
whole
right.
point. It's already tight and right. You just ain't been here.
Fuck you. Your ass ain't been here. It's tight right.
You know, but no, that's my point is that it's this is gonna open up a whole lot of doors if we do this right.
Do it right.
Okay, so say for instance, there may be somebody in Memphis who has a black radio station who's looking for programming. Here we are. That's why you hear me trying to be more national than local.
I got you.
Okay, because sure we can talk about what's going on in Little Rock proper, but we need to make sure that as we continue to develop this show, that we are talking about more national issues as we start moving towards that syndication. Does that make sense?
I got you.
Because that's the ultimate goal. That was the ultimate goal when I started doing this show. Because there are a lot of black people, for whatever reasons, who are buying these radio stations up. They're throwing their money down the drain because they're not going to be able to maintain the maintenance, and they need programming. So here's an opportunity to do that. So I'm pretty excited about it. So they'll be able to run their own commercials. So when we take a break, you'll find that we take more breaks now. So when we take a break, they take breaks. Okay. All of that's taking place. Also, every Thursday now, I got Dr. Rosen Milligan. I think I told you about that last night. So we'll be looking to get some other folks on too.
That'll work, brother.
I can be reached at 501-503-5095. Don't face your legal issues alone. You need an attorney whose primary objective is to provide you with the best legal representation. Our office address is 415 North McKinley, Suite 710 in Little Rock. I'm attorney Peter Thompson, and I want to provide you with the best legal representation.
The views and opinions expressed today on Black Focus Radio are not the views and opinions of the station, its management, or its advertisers. Now, let's get ready to focus on our issues, our solutions, using our voices on Black Focus Radio.
Welcome to Black Focus, the show designed with our community in mind, where we focus on our issues, developing our solutions, using our voices. Central Arkansas, surrounding areas, and the nation. Get ready. Black Focus starts right now. Phone lines open at 855-525-5683. So here's your host, David W. Coleman and Robert Webb.
All right, welcome back to the second hour of the show, Black Focus Radio, noon to 2 p.m. on JoeNetRadio.com. It is a Tag Someone Tuesday. Tell someone about the show. You can also catch YouTube, Black Focus Radio. We are not streaming on Twitter today. We will start streaming more often on Twitter as well. So there are a lot of platforms that you can catch us on. And I appreciate everybody spreading the word about what we're trying to do here at this station. If you heard us in the break, and if you were on the stream, you did hear me talking about the potential for simulcasting. If you are in an area where you listen to us and you are looking for black programming, or you know radio stations that doesn't have black programming noon to 2 p.m., call me up and we'll talk about the syndication process, because it's pretty simple, and what we're trying to do is spread the word about what's going on, not just here in Little Rock, but all across the country as it relates to the black diaspora. 855
That's what's up.
525-5683 is the number. That's how you get in touch with us if you want to get in touch with me. We've got a lot of other stuff to talk about, but certainly we've been talking about this shooting. Just to finish that portion up, one of the things that, as a business owner, that I have to be concerned about, and it's amazing how I pay attention to things now that I have a product.
Yeah.
So when I walk into, I forgot where I was. Wait a minute, I think it was at Texas Roadhouse.
Okay.
And when you walk in the door, it immediately has a sign that says, I believe it was even before we got in the door, that this place uses peanuts. Of course, you know, when you go into Texas Roadhouse, they have peanuts in there. The shells are all over the floor everywhere. Okay. I have to be conscious of those types of things. Okay.
You got a peanut allergy.
Because of peanut allergy, how I prep it, all of those things are important as I develop my product.
Okay.
Because if in fact someone ingest my product and get sick, and I'll be honest, it's hard to prove, but if they do get sick, then I'm liable. It may not be fair. I mean, if you remember the Bear aspirin scare.
Yeah.
Remember when was it Bear or Tylenol? Which one was first?
Both of them.
I think Tylenol was first. Okay. So Tylenol was sued for millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. What happened with that scare? And if those of you all don't remember, someone was tampering with their product.
Right.
And their product.
And that's the same thing that happened with the shoe.
Well, I agree. This is why I'm bringing this up.
Yeah.
Their product had been on the market for years.
Yeah.
No one had ever did anything like that. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you got some kook who decided that, hey, I'm going to put something other than Tylenol into this product. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It wasn't Tylenol's fault.
Right.
But Tylenol was sued for millions of dollars and lost.
I get that.
My point being is that unfortunately, the way the law is set up, it's on the business owner to make sure that nothing bad happens. And what's bad about saying that, even if something does bad happen and it's out of your control, unfortunately in America, you're still liable.
Yeah, I get that. But I think for me, what's problematic for me is not so much the liability. It's just the conversations that we have after the fact. Because, again, to tell someone not to go to a black establishment, to me, that's problematic. Because you're essentially saying, you ain't just saying that the club, because if you notice, people don't draw distinctions. You notice that, right? Mm-hmm. They don't say, hey, don't go to Empire. Hey, don't go to Jazzy's. Hey, don't go to Elevations or whatever it is now. What is it now? I don't know. Is it Elevations?
Elevations.
Is it Elevations?
Who you asking? I don't go out.
Okay. So they don't draw distinctions, right? They don't draw distinctions about where not to go. They just say, hey, I just wouldn't go to a club. Mm. Well, guess what? There's a whole lot of places around here that are considered clubs.
True.
Right?
And there have been shootings at white clubs.
There have been shootings at white clubs, but you don't hear the same conversation.
There have been shootings
you don't hear the same rhetoric.
At gay clubs.
And that bothers me. That troubles me a great deal because, again, we're talking about black folks, and we are so easy, even black folks, we are so easy and so comfortable with tearing our own apart. We are so comfortable with that. That is something that we don't mind doing at the drop of a hat. We'll tear each other apart. Now, the thing is, I'm not so comfortable with tearing each other apart. I'd rather us get somewhere in the room, hash it out, figure out how we're going to work it out, and move on. Let's not tear each other apart in public. That's not the way we do business. Now, when you talk about this shooting in relation to being a business owner, right? I can control some things and some things I can't, right? So if somebody goes to a side door and lets somebody into the club and that person then comes in and shoots somebody, I cannot control that.
I agree.
I cannot control that. Now, some people say I'm not a lawyer. I don't have any law degree. You say he's liable. If he's liable, he's liable. That it is what it is, right? Mm. But my point is that as a black community, soon I'm gonna go and support that brother because my thing is, I believe we have to support black business. We have to support black business. They create black jobs.
Okay.
We have to. I don't care.
Drug
you
dealers
have
create
to.
black jobs.
I would say I support them, but you know what? I'm gonna change. Hold on now, because I gotta say in all fairness. I gotta say in all fairness that I'm getting to the point now after some stuff I'm learning with the city that I'm gonna start supporting anybody. I don't care who you are and what you do. If you black and you doing something, whether it be positive or negative, I'm gonna tell you something I'm learning about the city. The city supports their people regardless of what they do.
When you say the city, you mean the white city.
I mean the people, the white city, the white employees of the city of Little Rock.
I don't want you mixing words here.
They support their folks regardless of whether they right or wrong. Mm. But you know what? We only support our folks if they right. So the question you just asked me, yes, I do support drug dealers. I do support it that they create black. They create black.
I was actually being facetious.
I was not. Let me tell you why though, Dave.
Well, let me ask you why. Let me tell you why I asked you the question.
Okay.
Because do all businesses benefit the community?
I think they all serve a purpose to some degree.
That's not what I asked you, sir. You just gave me a political answer.
Okay.
Do all businesses benefit the community?
I think all businesses are beneficial to the community in certain capacities, yes.
Okay.
Certain capacities.
Let me give you one.
Okay.
And it's legal.
Okay.
Do liquor stores benefit your community?
I think liquor stores do provide a service to my community. I believe in
I said benefit.
I believe they do serve a benefit.
Why? What benefit do they serve?
They allow you to have an opportunity to enjoy yourself, and have a nice little time with your friend. You and your friend get together. Y'all get y'all some little libations, and y'all get with it.
My point in asking that question, is that there are benefits. Now, look, I don't care if you drink. I drink. And as a matter of fact, me and my boy just made some homemade beer, so we're going to be enjoying that this weekend. So I don't mind you drinking, but I'm just saying there can be a debate that, here's my thing. I would like for liquor stores to be, just like they make sure that your liquor store can't be 200 feet within a school or a church. Just like when they made the new pot places, they put two of them almost right next to one another because that was the only place that they could find in Little Rock, which boggles my mind that they're not close to a church or a school. So my point being is, I would like to see them take liquor stores out of the communities and put them in places like that. You know what I'm saying? Where they're away from people. Because I don't think liquor stores bear any benefit for the community. That doesn't mean you can't go get it. If the liquor store is in a certain...
Why I got to drive way over there when I can just walk down the street and get what I need, Dad? Well, quit hating on me, man. Don't hate on me. Don't hate on my life.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I just need the line over.
I mentioned earlier the study that was done by Dr. Scribner back in... I can't remember now when he did the study, but he did the study a few years ago. Dr. Scribner did this study where he studied minority communities. And what he found is that communities with oversaturation of liquor stores, package stores, those neighborhoods had tons of crime problems, right? And it was related to nothing other than those liquor stores because they said when you have a lot of liquor stores and package stores in the neighborhood, that creates an element of lawlessness, right? Now, let's go back and let's have the conversation because I believe if you're going to have this conversation, you got to put it in its proper context. You ready? Arkansas Tobacco and Firearms. That's who decides. I should say the Alcohol Commission. That's who decides who gets a liquor license and when they can put one. And when I was in commission on the Housing Authority, I had them do a map to show us where all the liquor stores were in Pulaski County. You ready for this?
I know where the majority of them are.
Over 85% of them, were south of 630.
Yep.
I think at the time it was 100 and I want to say it was 160. No, it was 119. And of the 119, I think I want to say 88 of them were south of 630.
Not surprised.
Yeah. But
so
for me, that's problematic.
You just made my point.
Now, hold on. Yeah, but if you say so, yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with you. The liquor stores are a problem. But let me tell you the difference between a liquor store and a bar and a club, right? So they also did a study and they looked at clubs and restaurants that serve beer and alcohol. They said that the two don't compare. The reason the two don't compare is because usually people are going to bars and clubs. They're going there and they're going to sit down and relax. People are going to relax when they go to bar and restaurants and that kind of thing. They're going to relax. Nobody's going in there to fight or do all this crazy stuff that happens in clubs or what happens in neighborhoods or around gas stations and liquor stores. It's a totally different spiel. Totally different, right? So whenever we have conversations about bars and clubs and that kind of thing, we try to lump them into the same thing with liquor stores. It just doesn't fit because they're two totally different animals. They're two totally different animals.
So are we talking about regular clubs or strip clubs?
Strip clubs, same thing. All of them are two, and especially strip clubs, because nobody's going to go to a strip club and fight. That's all about a release. That's not about fighting. It's all about a release in a strip club.
Well, some people will fight, but you typically don't want to fight in a strip club.
You don't want to. That's not the place to fight.
You would
get what you deserve.
You will get your
exactly.
Okay, but I guess what we have, and look, I think part of that number of liquor stores south of 630 is because of how the city was developed. Okay.
Not just because of how the city was developed.
It has a lot to do with that, I think. Well, not a lot, but I think some. Because you got to understand that 630 didn't used to be here. Yeah. Okay. Everything stopped basically at the river. Okay. And there was really no west. So when you talk about 430, there was there was nothing there. You see what I'm saying? So the city basically was the river, I-30, and 430. Now, prior to, because when I used to go out to, I used to laugh at people when they'd say, well, we're going out to Pinnacle Mountain. Well, when I was 10 years old, I was going to Camp Grundy, which was up the street from Pinnacle Mountain. And we used to drive up Highway 10, and Highway 10 was a two-laner. There was nothing out there. Okay? Right. So I think that's part. Now, I'm not trying to debunk what you said about the number of liquor stores, because I think that is significant. But I think part of that was how the city was developed as well. Because you got to understand that the majority of the people, white people in this city, they lived in Southwest Little Rock at one point. That used to be posh neighborhoods back in the day. Now they've moved out. So certainly liquor stores and businesses in general are going to locate close to the population. So that's part of that.
You got to remember, so when they set this up, you had to have a liquor store there. Had to have 25,000. You had to be able to serve 25,000. Right? Mm-hmm. Well, that was a magic number. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. So let's put that in this proper perspective. Back in the day, you couldn't go in a gas station and buy beer. Mm-hmm. You could go in a gas station and buy cigarettes, but more than likely you couldn't buy beer. Mm-hmm. Well, let's fast forward.
Depends on what city.
But let's fast forward though. I mean, we're talking about Little Rock, so let's fast forward, right?
Because we used to always drive up the highway on Sundays and go to Memphis.
Yeah.
And bring back beer.
Yeah, that's my point though. But let's fast forward, right? So now we fast forward now, and so here we are. We're in Little Rock, Arkansas, and it's 1996. Mm-hmm. Now you can walk in a gas station with a liquor store across the street. You can walk in a gas station and buy a 12-pack of beer with a liquor store across the street, right? So,
but now you can walk in the Kroger's and do the same too.
ABC did that. ABC did that. That's their fault, because they were not conscious of our neighborhoods and they were allowing shop owners to make money. Because at the end of the day, you cannot keep a guy from making money.
Let me tell you, it wasn't ABC.
It was ABC. ABC had to approve it.
Wait a minute, it was your legislatures.
No, ABC had to approve it.
They had to approve it, but it was your legislature who had to change the law.
No, actually, if you check it out, there was no law change.
Oh, really?
No, it wasn't a law change. It was just that before gas stations weren't able to sell. I shouldn't say they weren't able to sell them. I gotta go back and look at that.
It had to be an ordinance or something.
It wasn't anything that changed. It wasn't anything that changed.
Just like the same thing with you used to couldn't buy wine, and it used to boggle my mind. I go to California 25 years ago, go in a Safeway, and I can buy wine, and come back here, and you can't, but you can buy beer.
You can buy beer, yeah.
You know, which was weird.
Not really.
You know, yeah, it was weird to me. But anyway, not that I was doing that much drinking.
But see, that's the same thing, because that's what it is. So the convenience stores had to change their name from a convenience store to a grocery store to be able to carry the beer, because you had grocery stores who carried beer, but they were convenience.
So there was an ordinance.
There was no ordinance.
Well, wait a minute. Yes, it had to be an ordinance. They had to change the name.
Grocery stores always carry beer.
Right. But I promise you that there's an ordinance that gives them
there was no ordinance that changed that. There was nothing that changed it. It was just that those grocery store owners had to change the name, had to change the way they did their business.
Wait a minute, I'm thinking back now, Robert, and y'all correct me, those of you who grew up in Little Rock. At one point, grocery stores didn't sell beer.
Ever since I've been alive, I've known grocery stores sell beer. I don't know. You've been around a little bit longer than me, so you could be right, Dave.
See?
No, that was not a slight. That was not a slight.
You ain't been here in 10 years.
That was not a slight, brother. That was not a slight.
You come on my show, and you want to throw shade about my age.
That was not a slight, bro.
Lord. But I'm trying to remember, because I remember. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I remember us.
You're finna date yourself for real.
Going to remember the little liquor store that was across the street from Philander Smith College.
Yeah.
You used to drive around.
The yellow building. Yeah.
That little
yellow
building.
Box.
That little building. It was a box, right?
Box. I couldn't understand how they had beer in that place, man.
Boy, they had. I know, but
they had some damn cold beer.
Yeah, that beer. They had the coldest beer in Little Rock back then.
Yeah, because they ain't had nothing but damn cool.
You know,
that's it.
Boy, we dating ourselves now. But no, I'm just trying to remember. I don't remember. Seems like for a while, grocery stores, because remember, Little Rock was behind the times because they had those blue laws. Remember, you couldn't buy
right, you couldn't buy on Sunday.
soap washaterias were closed.
Yeah.
All of that stuff. Because I was back in the day, hey, most black folks, we grew up without a wash and dry for a long time. Okay? So we had to go to the washateria, and it was always Saturday night that we would end up at the washateria. Hated it,
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that, and maybe I don't know. I just seems like you couldn't. But anyway, we're getting off the subject here. But I just think that I think as far as our community is concerned, we have to do a better job as community police.
We have to address the issues that cause these kind of problems.
Right.
And that's what I was saying to Rizal earlier. Everybody now wants to talk about the symptom of the problem when there's a shooting in the club. That's a damn symptom of the real problems in our community. Now, if you want to waste my time and waste your time talking about a damn symptom, then go right ahead.
Do we know why the shooting took place?
No.
Have they gotten a suspect?
No, I haven't heard anything.
I haven't seen anything about it.
And honestly, I haven't even tried to. And the reason why is that I'm going to be supportive of Empire and any other black business, regardless, because we have to.
When you say support, what does that mean? Because I don't go to Empire.
I don't either. But I'm going to go now.
Why?
Because I think it's important. Like, I didn't go to the Changes a whole lot before. Every now and then I follow it.
Where is Empire?
It's on Roosevelt, right beside the county jail.
Wait a minute. Isn't that La Changes?
It used to be La Changes.
Oh, okay. So that has changed. Okay.
Yeah. And
so does Broadway still own it, or did he sell it?
Yeah. But I think Brian's taking it over and Brian's running now. Brian's running. It's his thing. It's his club. It's his thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think he's like renting the building from Broadway.
Okay.
Yeah. So my thing is, man, I gotta be supportive of my folk, man. Always.
Well,
I got to. And the reason I gotta do that, Dave, is because I know how hard it is out here, bro. I know how hard it is to make $1.
But see, I don't go to the club though.
Well, you know what? You can just roll through there and just have a drink. You just say, hey man, I just want to stop through and support you, bro.
But that's the club.
You ain't gotta do but have one drink and leave. That's what I do, man. I remember I went in there. There was an incident that happened in there a couple of years ago, and after the incident, I made it a point to go by there and I spent $100. I wanted to make sure that he knew that I was in support. I was supportive. Because that's important, man. That's important that we support people. Right? And like I said, let me go back to this point I wanted to make because I'm tired of people talking crazy to me. So, the city of Little Rock supported a man who they knew stole stuff. Knew he stole equipment. They knew he had stole it. Knew it.
Now, you can't just say that without saying a name.
Danny Sanford. They knew Danny Sanford had stole this material. They knew it. John Eckert, John Light, Ernie Mox, all these cats knew that the dude that stole the equipment. And do you know what they did? They said it was the black dude. Even the white woman even created a receipt to get to the police. Now you think I ain't finna? I'm gonna support my folks. I don't give a damn what they do. I don't give a damn what they do.
I'll support your argument by simply saying this, which you make a lot of sense in some regard.
But we won't do that.
Believe it or not. So if you think Robert is kind of off his rocker, and he is sometimes, I'm just letting y'all know.
I just need y'all. I just want y'all to give a shout out to my heroes.
But would you just
Malik Xavier Johnson? Malik, love you, dog.
Will you be quiet dog. So I get back to point? I'm trying to support you here.
R.I.P. dog.
Okay. So if you disagree with what Robert is saying, think about it from this perspective. No matter what that guy has done in the White House, white folks have been behind him 100%. He cheated with the Russians. He cheated on his wife. He done sexually harassed all kinds of women. But you don't see white folks running from him. So to your point, Robert, it makes some sense that regardless, I can't say regardless of what we do, but I understand what you're saying. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to support my people. I don't care what they do.
I understand what you're saying.
That's why I say I got to give a shout out to my heroes, man. Yeah, Gavin Long. See, love you, brother. R.I.P. dog.
Here you go.
R.I.P. to my hero.
855-525-5683 is the number. That's how you get in touch with us if you want to call us up. I want to appreciate Cliff for coming in and bringing in. He sent me some live video, but Cliff, I will tell you that it was upside down. Don't know why. Maybe
it was upside down?
Yeah, it was upside down, so it wasn't relevant.
So what you talk to your shit? Why you know what? Hey man, I keep forgetting, dog.
What's that?
You remember you lost the bet last year? I need you to pay out, player.
What bet is that?
One of your at-large directors gonna come on the show. I need you to pay up, player. I need you to get in that booth, dog.
Speaking of which,
I need you to get in that booth, dog.
hey, I'm ready whenever Willie calls
I need
me.
you to get in that booth,
Hey,
dog.
they just had an event this past Sunday. Would have been a great time to do it. So
Yeah, that's
just
true.
whenever we're
Yeah,
ready.
we should coordinate with one
Okay.
of those. Yeah.
Yeah, so whenever we're ready. So, what was I getting ready to say? The at-large
Yeah.
people. Okay. So, in the tease that I wrote about the at-large people, and we touched on this a little bit at the beginning of the show, about the at-large board members, and they had this big powwow this weekend. I didn't know about it because I would have went just to throw shade. Because you know what? I think we got to get into that business again. What did Dr. King say?
Which time?
Wasn't it
He said
Dr.
something
King who
like
said we have to agitate? Wasn't that him who said that? Okay. And that's what we got to get back into that business.
You know, I must tell you, my friend, I have transitioned from that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I've transitioned,
But
I'm supportive of whatever you can do. I'll be there.
here's what I'm not talking about getting out there marching. I've told people I'm
can't do that.
not marching
can't do
anymore.
that. I can't do
Okay, number one, I got a bad ankle, I got a bad shin, I got a bad knee, and I got a bad hip, and of course I got a bad back. So no offense if you say, see Dave be on the show talking all that noise, well he ain't even at the march, dude. There are times I can't even stand up.
Dave's got some
So,
problems.
so I ain't marching, okay? Yeah, just keep letting your child play football. He too will have these problems. But I think there are times when we have to agitate. And I think events like that took place on Saturday, where they thought they were in friendly confines, okay? It would have been great if Rozelle and his group would have known that was taking place and they went to that event and agitated. Because at this point, see, I'm beyond letting them continue to be comfortable. Okay? So what we've got to do is every chance, every forum that they put on that's public, we need to be there. That's just how I look at
say
it.
hell with all that.
You know.
Don't buy nothing in Little Rock. I'd start a Shop North Little Rock campaign. Not only that, I ain't paying no damn taxes. The police are gonna try to kill me. I'm not paying my personal property tax. I'm gonna tell them when I pay my taxes this year, they're gonna be $6 short. Cause I ain't paying for police and fire. I ain't paying for it. That's what we gotta do, man. That's what we gotta do. Hell with everything else. Hit them in the pocket, baby. Hit them where it hurt. Now, if you want to talk, if you want to march, go ahead. If you want to have a rally, go ahead. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying I ain't showing up for it.
No, I'll show up and take pictures.
But the thing is that if we really want to hit them where it hurts, shop North Little Rock. Don't buy none of your big ticket items in Little Rock. Don't even buy gas in Little Rock. Understand, the city of Little Rock makes $1 off of everything you do. You got to pay your utilities. You got to pay your light, water, and gas. You got to pay your cable. You got to pay your cell phone bill. You got to make your mortgage payments. That's the only money they would get from me, right? Their biggest pool of money is sales tax revenue, and there's sales tax on everything I just mentioned. But when you buy groceries, they ain't got to get none of that. When you buy gas, they ain't got to get none of that. Whenever you buy a damn Coke, they ain't got to get none of that. Now, when you pay your cell phone bill, like I said again, you can't not pay your cell phone bill. You can't not pay your light, water, and gas. You can't not make your mortgage payment.
You know that's a double negative, don't you?
Well, yeah, I do, but it's all good.
Can't not.
Everybody knows what I'm talking about. They know how Robert Webb rolls. But that's my point, though, right? You have to go across the bridge. Don't eat in Little Rock no more. Don't eat here no more.
Even with a black business?
Even with a black business.
Don't eat at Sam's?
Because they got to understand. I love running. I love
Eat at
Sims. Don't eat at Sims.
Oh Lord, no! I gotta have my ribs from Sims.
Don't eat at Sims. Don't eat Kitchen Express. Don't eat at Last.
But wait a minute, isn't that contradicting to what you said about supporting
because
black businesses?
you gotta send this message, right? And the way we send this message is for 90 days. Every quarter, the city comes out with a financial report, right? So if we started right now, we wouldn't hear about the impact until probably sometime in October, right? But the thing is that if we're serious and we're seriously tired of people shooting us, police shooting us and getting away with it. Stop spending money with the city.
But wait a
Because you
minute.
funding
Wait a
their ass.
minute.
You funding you are funding your own misery.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Did North Little Rock Police kill someone under questionable circumstances?
Okay, so what? You want to go to Bryan? I don't care where you go. I'm just saying don't spend your money in Little Rock. I don't care where you
Oh,
spend.
hell, I don't want to go to Bryant.
So,
I sure as hell don't want to go to Benton.
okay, so where you want to go, Dave? You don't want to go to North Little Rock?
I'm just asking. Don't get upset with me.
Well, where you
I'm
want to
just-
go, dog? Because you're like, didn't North Little Rock
Well,
kill a
they
guy?
did, didn't they?
But they say he had a gun.
So
if he had a
what?
gun, I'm just
That-
saying
that-
that.
yeah.
Hey,
I know people getting shot with cell phones and they said, I thought he had a gun.
Bro.
So what's the difference?
Did he have a gun or no?
It doesn't matter. Look, white
he
people-
have a gun or not?
Look. In Nashville, about 3 weeks ago, a white boy attacked cops with an axe. He lived.
He was white.
Exactly.
The white dude.
So I don't give a
the white
damn.
Dude,
I don't give a damn if he had a
the
howitzer.
white dude on Shackleford didn't crash so well.
Okay.
He was shot by the police.
Okay.
But that's why
They were trying to make a point. Hey, we need to shoot this white boy.
I gotta give a shout out to my heroes, man.
There we go. Yeah.
Xavier Johnson. Mikael Xavier Johnson. Much love, my brother.
There we go. All right. So
Come on, Gavin. Come on, Gavin
So-
Long.
so-
Much love, player.
I
RIP,
understand. I understand what your argument is.
dog. Okay. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm just letting you know. I'm supporting my folks. I don't care
Okay.
what they do. I don't care what they do.
You already
I don't
said
care
that,
if they
Robert.
murder somebody.
No,
I still
no.
got love for them.
Well, they murder somebody you know.
I don't care. I got love for you.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you what the problem. Let me tell you what's problematic
Let
for
me,
me.
let me tell you why. Your
Everybody
argument-
else tells us who we should be upset with. Why I gotta be upset with him? Why I gotta be upset with Malik Xavier Johnson? Why I gotta be upset with him?
Why do you keep bringing his name up?
That's my That's my hero. You must not know who he is. Do you? You don't know who my boy
Okay,
is.
so let me finish.
My hero.
Let me finish my point, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Okay. I understand the premise of your argument.
Okay.
I
But,
certainly believe.
However,
If you let me finish, sir.
Okay, sir.
I know you hadn't been in a while and you're pregnant with promise. Okay?
which makes you my father. Which makes you my baby daddy.
No. But the point I'm trying to make here is this: is what you're saying is not practical. All right, and that's unfortunate because that same argument can be made against Walmart because of how they're destroying the schools here in Little Rock. I think I have something a lot more practical
What's that?
that will break the backs of every state.
And what's that?
Okay.
Okay.
Did you watch March Madness?
Yeah.
By the way, see, wait a minute, don't
I
wait.
just- I ain't said nothing
Just
yet.
shut
I'm gonna
up.
let you do it. Go ahead,
Okay.
do your thing.
Did you
Do
watch
your
March
thing.
Madness?
I did.
Okay. Did you watch any of the draft? Now I didn't watch any of the draft, but here's what I found out about the draft, which I already knew: that 70% of the people that were drafted were black people, black boys,
Okay.
black young men, I should say.
Okay.
68% of the people that play college sports are black,
Okay.
black males.
Okay.
And I'm talking about the revenue sports.
Okay.
All you need is one day to say, my son has football flu. You know when the police,
No, your son has black flu.
well, just listen. This is
Okay.
my,
Okay. I'm
this
sorry.
is my,
Your moment.
Okay.
My bad. Go ahead.
all you need to do, just like, the police, when they mad about a contract or something, they get blue flu.
Right on.
All you got to do is my son has football flu. Or my son has basketball flu. Okay?
Okay.
And it will change overnight. Now, wait a minute
I hear you.
before you argue.
I ain't arguing. I'm not gonna.
I have prima facie evidence.
You trying to use Missouri? Isn't it?
No, I'm not
Case in
trying to
point.
use Missouri.
You're using
That
Missouri.
is a fact, Jack.
Okay.
Okay? That is prima facie evidence that if you, like you're saying, it's the same argument you're making, is that if you affect their pocketbooks, that is the only thing that initiates change. Now, I've said people over and over again, what was the most powerful weapon used in the 60s? It was not the marching. It wasn't the great speeches. It was the economic boycott. Okay? So if what we need is that we need to develop some type of consciousness about how we're being treated. Okay? Because that same black boy that scores a touchdown can be the same black boy that was beaten or shot dead in the street. Okay? That slams a basketball could be the same one who was roughed up by police. So the only true solution, because think about it, Robert. You talk about tax revenue. Nashville had 600,000 people at the draft last week over those 4 days.
Nashville had how many?
600,000 people. As a matter of fact, that Motel 6s and Red Roof Inns and things of that nature, where they normally charge $37 a night, they were canceling reservations for people who had previously made reservations, and they were charging $200 and $300 a night. So when you talk about making a impact against the power structure, that's where you can make an impact.
I get that. But again, you're asking a group of young men who might not understand the significance of what you're asking them to do. So that's my only concern. That's my only concern with it. What I'm saying is that what I'm talking about doing, you can do right now. You ain't gotta wait till the end. Right now, you can impact the city of Little Rock far greater than ever before by just going to North Little Rock. Shop North Little Rock. You ain't gotta buy.
But let me use
if
your
you want to buy
argument.
a TV, don't go.
Let
Don't
me
buy the
use
Best
your
Buy in
argument.
North Little Rock. In Little Rock, go to the Best Buy.
Right
North
now,
Little Rock.
if you say that, then you're impacting the young women or mothers who don't have cars who need to feed their children.
More than likely, the young mothers who don't have cars and need to feed their children, they ain't listening to our damn show no way. So,
well, that's true too.
So
But
my point is,
but
Dave,
that's
don't be trying to throw me up, Dave.
No, that's the
Don't do
same.
that, Dave.
That's the same premise
Don't
you
do that.
use.
No, it's not.
It is.
Dave,
It's the exact same premise.
Dave, you buy a lot of electronics. Dave, you buy a lot of electronics.
I buy via Amazon, so
Okay.
Hey, so they don't get those taxes,
They
at least
get
not
it
yet.
Right. So if you're gonna buy something, even if you're gonna buy a part for your car, go to North Little Rock. That's all I'm saying. Just go to North Little Rock and tell your friends go to North Little Rock. Because again, it's about the money, y'all. If we learn how to control our money, we control every damn thing else.
I agree.
All we gotta do is learn how to control our money. And so what I'm saying is, let's control our money right now. Don't buy no gas in Little Rock. Don't buy no food in Little Rock. Make the trek across the bridge and let them know that we ain't playing.
You've been over to the War Memorial Stadium area lately.
Yeah.
What does it look like to you?
They're putting in work.
They put in a little work,
Yeah.
But since the Razorbacks basically stopped playing over there, what is that community? How is that community?
It looks about the same. It doesn't look any different to me.
It's devolved somewhat.
No, they're making the city itself has made a huge investment in that area. I know the city itself is
That's
has
because
invested $1 million or so dollars.
that's because you got the health department, UMS is right down the street. But over
No, I'm just talking about what the city's done.
Okay.
I'm just talking about so everything you see going on with the crosswalk and all that. That's all city investment.
That's fine. But the point is that there were millions of dollars lost to that community. Because right there on Fair Park and Markham, there used to be a Black Angus. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
There used to be all kinds of little restaurants in that little area. Okay? Now, the reason I know that is because I sold hot dogs over there when I was in Boy Scouts. All right?
Yeah, that was.
I was like, shut up. Don't even go
They
there.
didn't even put hot dogs. They didn't even have buns there.
And we had to actually make them from scratch. But the point I'm trying to make is that we know for a fact the economic impact those types of events have on a community. And forget about what the university makes. The tax revenue that are from hotel, motel taxes, gas stations, restaurants, all of those ancillary businesses that make money. Now, if you really want to initiate change, you have to hit them and hit them hard. And here's why I say this. It will only take one time.
Yeah, I'm not saying we should.
Let me finish my point. So if you remember what the University of Missouri, when Missouri football team did what they did, they estimated that the university alone was going to lose $10 million to miss one game. Okay? They were talking about it. I think there was 3 games left in the season when that happened. Those guys were talking about boycotting the entire season for the rest of the season.
Right.
They estimated that Missouri and that area was going to lose close to $75 million. At that point when those estimates came out, that's when Missouri said, "Oh, I give, Uncle." Now, the aftermath of that is presidents went into a meeting and tried to figure out how they could keep that from happening on their campuses, because they understand the revenue that those games are generating. The University of Arkansas alone got $40 to $60 million from the SEC. In fact, every SEC school got about that. Well, they got about that same amount of money. So if we really want to affect change, see, I've said this over and over again. You said, what did you say about the young men earlier? You said, I don't think the young men would be conscious of that, something to that effect. Is that what you said?
I'm not sure. What were we talking about? They wouldn't be conscious of the impact.
See, that's the problem. Is that if you go back and you look at history, all of those people that were fighting for us to be where we are today were young people. Those young people understood sacrifice. Those young people realized that, hey, I want to build something better for my future, my children. What our young people today don't understand is sacrifice. And that's what we need to get back to. Because if all walk out the way they did at the University of Missouri, then there can't be any backlash from the establishment. You understand what I'm saying? To me, and I'm going to keep arguing this point, that's the key to change, is college sports. $1 billion every year from the NCAA. That's just that's for basketball. We're not even talking about football. Football is the cash cow. All it takes is one time and it doesn't even have to be all schools. Think about it from this perspective. So the state of Florida has just recently passed a law that said those felons who were granted a right to vote by the citizens, they said you got to pay before you got to pay your fines up before you can vote, which they've instituted is a glorified poll tax.
Yeah.
Okay? So think about this from this perspective. What if black people said, okay, I'm not gonna send my child to the University of Florida, because if my uncle who has served his time can vote in your state, my child can't play in your state. Same with Arkansas.
But again, Dave, you and me, man, we're kind of naive. And by that I mean, we're naive to the fact.
What you call me?
We're naive because we believe that everybody else is as socially.
No, I don't believe that. I understand
You have to believe that to think that what you're talking about.
No.
You have to believe that.
No, I don't. Here's what I understand. They're not. I understand. Okay. See, I understand that our people aren't conscious. I understand that
Do you understand people not woke?
Exactly. I totally understand that. That's why it's kind of like multiplication. You learn multiplication with repetition.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
These ideas, these changes in thought processes have to be repeated over and over again, and eventually someone will say, bing, yeah.
I get it, right?
Wait a minute. Yeah. Exactly. So, no, I'm not being naive. I understand what has been done to our people mentally. What we've got to do now is start putting together, at least talk about it. We can't just say, oh, that'll never work. You know how black folks are. You come up with an idea, the first thing you got Rodney over in the corner. He got his beard, it's sweating, it's hot. Y'all, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna never work. And he goes on a 10-minute diatribe why it never works. He doesn't make any damn sense, but because his mouth is bigger, everybody listens to Rodney.
Right.
And don't listen to practicality.
I dig it.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what we've got to get out of being Rodney and start saying, okay, we got to start talking about best practices. And this is what angers me about some of our political leaders now, is that they don't talk about best practices. They don't talk about how we can fix it. They talk about how we can get money from the government to help us.
Well, they talk about how it got broke.
Well, that too.
Nobody ever talks about how to fix what was broke.
Right. So when I see these scholars, all of them sitting on stage and they're pontificating about how we got here, think about it when you've seen some of those forums. Nobody talks about a solution.
Because there's no money in solutions, Dave.
There you
People
go.
give you money for problems because what they want you to have is always have problems.
Exactly.
They don't want you to come up with solutions,
exactly.
So therefore they give you no money for
solutions. So we're thinking outside by talking about solutions. And to me, to this date, I'm not talking something about something that's nebulous out there. I'm not talking about theory. I'm talking about something that we've actually seen that worked 2 times. In the 60s with the bus boycott and at Missouri when those black students decided that they weren't going to play. We've seen that work.
Right.
Okay?
But again, Dave, you got to have people who are conscious.
I agree. I agree.
All of our people aren't conscious. Even though they say they are, a lot of them aren't.
I agree.
And that's unfortunate.
And that's why you all, I'm begging you, please go out and listen to that Dr. Cress Welsing piece that I posted on my wall. If you do nothing else, listen to that piece because you'll begin to understand where I'm coming from. I've been coming from this direction for 30 years.
Yeah.
I first read, remember we had were you here when we had Dr. Kunjufu on?
Yeah, I was here.
Okay, so remember the question I initially asked him?
Dude, I've just been gone since January. Not like I've been gone for 2 years.
It's been like 10.
I
But
just
I'm
missed
just
our
saying.
anniversary too, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, and didn't even
What
call.
was it, 3 years?
Yes, didn't even call.
3
Didn't
years.
even
It's been that long.
didn't even send me flowers or nothing. But that's okay.
I love you. I love you, black
No, you
man.
don't. No,
I
you
love
don't.
you, black
Yeah,
man.
prove it.
I love you, black
But
man.
remember when we had Dr. Kunjufu on, and what did I ask him? The first question I asked him, I said,
Yeah,
Dr.
I remember
Kunjufu,
that, yeah.
you started talking about this problem with black males and the lack of black role models back in the 80s.
Right.
Remember that question I asked him?
Yes.
I said, and I asked him, does it frustrate you that we are here today and no one paid attention to you?
Yes.
Okay. So my point being is, I've been on this since in the 80s. And I'm trying, and more people are beginning to get there. So we got to continue to have these conversations. I'm no smarter than Robert Webb.
You're a lot smarter than me, though.
You know, I'm no smarter than people that are listening to this show. I just simply decided that I was going to start doing research about our people. And what I learned is that when you affect somebody's pocketbook,
Yeah, you do their pocketbook, man. You change the way they think.
you
man.
change. And
So
so,
I ain't gonna say change the way they think.
Oh, yeah.
You make them stop. You make them stop and re-examine their thought.
well, you change the way they think. Let's do it from a political standpoint.
Yeah.
Why do so many of these black politicians support let's say Cory Booker. Cory Booker is hook, line, and sinker for Israel. Even though Israel is murdering Palestinians, even though Israel is shooting black Jews up with Depo-Provera.
And who you talking about?
Cory Booker.
And what
Okay.
and what he running for?
He's running for president.
What color is he?
But
White? Oh, okay.
okay.
Yeah.
But here's my point. You know why he's doing that? Because AIPAC is doing this.
Yeah, everybody getting paid, man.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So at some point, we as black people have got to understand that. We have to.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to understand how we affect their purses. Our number one resource right now are who? And I gave you the answer. Our children. You
Every
look,
day, all day.
in sports and in prison, in education, because guess what? People are making millions of dollars about closing your public schools and you sending your little black child to charter schools. Our number one resources are our children. If we take our resources from them, they will capitulate. They have no choice because those children are who make sure that those mansions out in Pleasant Valley and in Chenal and all those beautiful gated communities that some of y'all don't know about here in Little Rock, you'd be shocked. You all have got to pay attention that your children are the key.
Yeah, make sure it happens. Do
I'm
not
just saying.
shop Little Rock. Shop North Little Rock. That's
just
the new
saying.
campaign. Shop North Little Rock. Go to North Little Rock and buy what you need. Don't buy it in Little Rock. On your personal property taxes, on your real estate taxes, there's a line down there. It says police pension, fire pension. Don't pay either. Don't pay either. We ain't got nothing against the fire department, but dog, y'all with y'all boys, the money go in the same account. Don't pay either.
Now, is that legal?
Who cares if it's legal?
Well, you don't want people like going to jail for $6.
How they gonna go to jail? They paid their taxes. They just paid. They were just $6
So
short.
I'm just saying.
And honestly, the amount that you're paying is really insignificant. It's insignificant because everybody pays a small portion, but that's all throughout the state, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, don't pay it.
Do you really want people to go to jail over $6?
They're not going to jail.
How do you know? You don't. They might be audited.
They're not gonna be audited. They're gonna tell them to send them the damn $6.
Right. Exactly.
That's
what I'm
it.
saying. Y'all black folks, you know, you
That's
ain't,
it.
you ain't gonna understand that.
That's it. But hey, if you don't want to do it, it's all good. But my point is, stop talking if you ain't gonna do it.
Well, and
Stop talking about what the police doing if you ain't gonna do nothing. I'm tired of y'all running your damn mouth. Stop
That's me.
talking if you ain't gonna do nothing.
that's me too. I'm tired of y'all running your mouth and ain't doing nothing, ain't getting
Damn
nothing.
Johnny come lately. Shut up.
I'm tired of you talking about all the police and you ain't spent one damn dime at a black business. I'm sorry. I'm just being real with you. The key, look, out of all this, folks, and why do I bring up spending money at black business? It's the same vein. The key to solving this problem is controlling our dollars. Okay? I've said it over and over again. They boycott your black businesses all the time.
Every day, all day.
Every day, all day.
Every day, all day.
The only businesses that they might go to is Sims, is a restaurant. Or if you cooking soul food, because that makes them reminisce about the days of yore when your mammy and your grandmammy was cooking they daddy's
The
food.
Kitchen Express. And
So
glasses and
exactly, you understand what I'm saying? I'm just being real here.
yeah.
Okay,
It is what
you,
it is.
You might see them at those establishments, but the regular business establishments, I know black lawyers right here, right now, can't get white clients.
Yeah.
But I know black clients running to white lawyers up and down the street.
Yeah.
Okay? Oh, I'm gonna go get me a white lawyer. He know more. Hell, the black lawyer went to the same law school as the white lawyer. He got better grades than the white lawyer because he had to, because they were gonna scrutinize him more than the white lawyer. Yet the white lawyer gets out, you go to him and you won't go to the black lawyer.
White folks ice just cold today. We just admitted to be done. Dave, quit hating. Their ice is just colder. Their ice is colder. Again.
Okay.
Again. Let me get some love to my heroes. My heroes. Mikhail Xavier Johnson. R.I.P. dog. Let me give some love to my man. I don't know if they call it, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I think it's right. I'm going to say Gavin. Gavin Long. Let me get some love to Gavin Long. R.I.P. brothers. I should say R.I.L. Y'all brothers rest in love, man. Y'all rest in love. I'm holding y'all up today. I'm going to hold y'all up every day. Because I got new heroes in this mother.
Oh, that's because everybody was killed in Endgame, huh? Oh, I know that was a spoiler. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
I got new heroes up in this thing, man. I got new heroes up in this thing.
All right. Caller, I'm sorry. We're getting ready to end the show.
Nah, man, let the caller on. We got 1 minute.
No? All right. Let's see if we can get him in real
Caller
fast.
is, man.
All right. Caller, you're on Black Focus Radio. What's your name? You got to be quick. What do you have to say, Deanna? You need to go out to the website. You're talking about for the station? Go out to the go to joynetradio.com. All right, I'm sorry. Okay, bye-bye. Wow. See, Robert, see how you motivated people? Go on. You need to come more often. I'm throwing shade at Robert. I'm sorry.
My heroes. My heroes.
All right, so we got to get out of here. Oh, I want to read something before we go.
All right.
You forgot about your quote.
Oh, my bad. Hey, y'all. Again, want to give a quick shout out to my heroes.
Here we go. Yeah.
Y'all rest in love, heroes. We love you, man. We love y'all. We love y'all. We love y'all. To my heroes, Mikhail Johnson. To my hero, Gavin Long. Love you, brothers. Y'all RIL. Love y'all, man. Peace.
Do you love them?
Spend money in your own community. If you don't, nobody else will.
Do you love them?
I love them brothers, man.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad you do.
You don't love them?
Yeah, I love them too, man. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I do. I'm looking for my quote here real fast. So let me get my music back on real fast because I think this is important. This is why I'm going to read this because I tell these young brothers. And by the way, Robert, we are going to have a rites of passage camp.
When you gonna do it? Let me know so I get some boys.
I'm looking about, I want to say before they go back to school.
So you gonna do this summer?
Yeah.
Where at?
If not, then we may have to push it off to next year because I want to make sure it's done right because I'm going to try to get Dr. Kunjufu here to help conduct it. Okay. But anyway, so I tell these young brothers all the time is that your disposition as to where you are today, you should not be there. Okay? Here's why. It's about attitude. All right? So you mean to tell me that someone down your ancestry line survived being chained to other human bodies for several months in the bottom of diseased infested ships during the Middle Passage, lost their language, customs, and traditions, picked up the English language as best they could while working free of charge from sunup to sundown as they watched their babies sold from out of their arms and women raped by ruthless slave owners. Took names with no last names, no birth certificates, no heritage of any kind, braved the Underground Railroad, survived the Civil War to enter into sharecropping, learned to read and write out of sheer will and determination, faced the burning crosses of the KKK, learned to read and write out of sheer will and determination, faced the burning crosses of the KKK, averted their eyes at the black bodies swinging from ropes hung on trees, fought in world wars as soldiers to return to America as boys, hosed in Birmingham, beaten in Selma, jailed in Wilmington, assassinated in Memphis, segregated throughout the South, ghettoed throughout the North, ignored in history books, stereotyped in Hollywood. And in spite of all someone in your family line endured, every era to make sure you got here. Now, if you receive one rejection, face one obstacle, lose one friend, get overlooked, you want to quit. How dare you entertain the very thought of quitting? People will never know. People you will never know who survived from generation to generation so you could succeed. Don't let them down. It is not in your DNA to quit. And that's it for today, folks. Say bye, Robert.
Peace.
You'll be back when? Next month?
No, I'll be back in a couple of days.